There was a time when every serious deer hunter across America could read the wind without carrying a single electronic device. No batteries in their pack, no digital screens in the timber, no expensive electronic wind meters strapped to their belts. Just their own sharp eyes, bare skin, and the forest itself. They watched thin spider silk stretching between old branches. They studied pale wood smoke drifting across the cold ridges. They felt cold moisture shift direction across their bare skin. Every single hunting shot they placed landed exactly on target. This natural wind-reading method survived well over 200 years inside Appalachian hunting camps, with never a single page of written instruction or any kind of formal training at all. Then around 1995, something changed in hunting. The outdoor gear industry figured out one very dangerous truth. If a deer hunter reads wind using only what the forest offers, he never needs to spend another dollar on wind detection tools. So they buried this old knowledge underneath glossy advertising. Electronic wind meters replaced a method that cost $0. And a full generation of deer hunters all across the country lost a skill their own grandfathers considered basic as tracks. This is the deer hunting skill the gear industry tried to erase. Welcome to Hidden Hunter Wyatt, right here on this very channel. If you are not subscribed yet, go ahead and hit subscribe now. This is where we dig up what the modern hunting world buried. Long before electronic wind detection tools filled up catalogs, Appalachian deer hunters already had their own complete system. The whole method started deep in hollows of Western Virginia, where mountain men tracked whitetail through dense morning fog. In 1862, during the violent years of the Civil War, Confederate scouts in the Shenandoah Valley used smoke signals from small controlled ground fires to map wind across ridges. They carefully watched thin wood smoke bend at tree-line level. They noticed wind near the damp forest floor moved differently than the wind blowing at chest level or above the tall canopy. That single observation built the foundation for an entire wind-reading system that mountain hunting families used for decades. Once the war was over, that knowledge moved right into hunting. By 1903, deer hunting camps throughout Tennessee and the rolling hills of western North Carolina used natural wind markers every single morning before entering the timber. A hunter would pick up one dry milkweed seed from cold ground and release it slowly from chest height near the main ridgeline. The way that single seed floated told them what they needed most: direction of the breeze and speed of the drift across the trees. Some old-timers deep in the Kentucky hollows would wet one hand, raise it slow at the very edge of a clearing well before sunrise, and feel exactly which direction cool morning air was moving from. Others watched spider webs carefully strung between low branches. If the silk moved even a fraction near the edge of a deer trail, they knew the wind had shifted enough to rethink their approach. A legendary hunter named Elmer Keith wrote about this method in the early 1900s and described how mountain men across Idaho could predict shifts before their hunting dogs even noticed. These experienced men carried no electronic gear into the forest. They carried field knowledge passed down across 3 generations, and they almost never lost a critical shot because of bad wind. This video is just the very surface of what has been buried deep. I have collected everything modern hunting culture tried to hide. All of it inside the complete Forbidden Hunter's vault right now. Ghost scent methods that make whitetail miss your full presence. Silent stalking mechanics that old hunters used in every season. Wind-reading techniques that fully replace expensive hunting gear. Tracking signs that most modern hunters walk right past and miss. Cold weather field fixes that make fancy winter gear look useless. 8 powerful hunting modules all in one place with zero fluff. The link to the full vault is right there in the description now. But do not leave yet. This hunting video is just getting started. Now here is where the hard science confirms exactly what old-time Appalachian deer hunters already knew from decades of experience. A research team at Penn State University published a major study showing that whitetail deer can detect human scent from over 300 yards away when wind blows in a steady direction. 300 yards of open distance across flat hunting ground. That is roughly equal to 3 full-sized football fields apart. But here is the one finding from that research that changes it. The same team also found that wind direction inside hill terrain shifts an average of every 4 to 7 minutes of elapsed time. That means the reading on your digital meter is already outdated, before you even finish pulling the device out of your chest pack. Old-time Appalachian hunters solved this without knowing the why. They relied on living wind indicators that updated in real time. A single milkweed seed responds to a wind shift within a second. A spider web between low branches vibrates at below 1 mile per hour of change, which is far more sensitive than any electronics. Wet bare skin on the back of a hand detects thermal shifts fast. Compare that to a digital meter that samples once every second and gives you a single frozen number from one fixed point only. A separate field study from the University of Georgia observed whitetail adjusting bedding positions based on shifting thermals, not just a steady wind, but vertical air movement rising or falling. Old mountain hunters understood thermal patterns from experience. They knew cold, dense air sinks into hollows before the first light. They knew warm air climbs along south-facing slopes during midday. They knew that deer use those exact thermals to stay hidden, and they use the same thermal knowledge to remain invisible. No device on the market today can read thermals like bare skin. No gadget ever made can scan a full tree line of silk and seed. A $200 electronic wind meter reads 1 point only. Your own trained senses read the full landscape at the same time. That is not sentimental nostalgia talking. That is pure physics. If you made it this far into the video, you already know more about natural wind reading than most deer hunters will ever learn. Subscribe and share this with somebody who still values real hunting fieldcraft over expensive electronic noise every season. And remember, the complete vault is right in the description now. Now stay right here with me. The next part matters even more. So why did this natural wind reading knowledge almost disappear? Why did something this effective just vanish from hunting camps? Because the hunting gear industry finally figured out the math. The wind detection gadget market alone brings in many millions of dollars in revenue every single year across the United States. Handheld wind meters, mountable sensors, full digital wind vanes, Bluetooth-connected devices that sync directly with your phone. The average serious whitetail hunter in America spends well over $150 on wind detection every single year. Now multiply that number by millions of licensed hunters in total. That is a revenue stream far too large for any company to risk. And what threatens that entire massive revenue model the most? A free method that uses milkweed seed and the back of your hand. A method that costs absolutely $0 to learn or practice. A method that performs even better in shifting mountain terrain. You cannot put a patent on common sense about the natural world. You cannot trademark the way a thin spider web reads the breeze. You cannot sell a monthly subscription for watching smoke drift. So the industry did exactly what it always does with free methods. First, it ignored this knowledge. Then it mocked it as primitive. Then it buried it all under massive waves of product advertising. Hunting education programs stopped teaching natural wind reading. Major magazines replaced fieldcraft articles with long gear lists. Television hunting shows only featured shiny gadgets on screens. And slowly, a skill that every mountain hunter once owned by age 16 became something almost nobody under 40 has even heard. The system does not want capable and self-sufficient deer hunters. It wants dependent consumers who buy upgraded gear every season, and natural wind reading is the #1 enemy of that model. Here is what you actually do next time you walk into the woods. Step 1. Before you leave your truck parked at the trailhead, look around the field edges for dry milkweed pods on the ground. Pick up at least 3 to 5 pods and pull the seed fluff out. If there is no milkweed around, grab cattail fluff from a ditch. Both materials float the same way and respond instantly to drift. Put the fluff in a small zip bag and slide it in your top pocket. Step 2. When you reach your hunting area well before first light, pull one single piece of seed fluff out of the bag very carefully. Hold it right at chest height and release it with absolutely zero force from your fingers. Just let it go into the cold morning air. Watch which direction it floats and how fast it moves through air. Do this every 50 yards along your full approach trail each time. Every single release gives you a live wind map of that exact spot. Step 3. Start paying close attention to the trees around you. Look at the very highest branches on the tallest standing hardwoods. That shows you what the wind is doing well above the forest canopy. Now look down at low brush and any spider webs close to the ground. That tells you exactly what the wind does right at deer nose level. If the upper wind and the ground wind are pointing different ways, You are dealing with a thermal split happening right at that spot. That is the exact condition that fools every electronic meter sold. Step 4. Wet the entire back of your hand using just your tongue. Then raise your hand slowly above your head and rotate full circle. The side of your hand that feels coolest first shows wind direction. Do this every single time you stop moving along your approach route. Step 5. When you finally settle into your tree stand or ground, blind, locate the nearest spider webs or hanging dry dead leaves. Those natural indicators are your constant real-time wind monitors. They will show you the exact moment that wind changes its direction. No battery required, no screen glare, no signal delay at all. An electronic meter would cost you well over $200, and it still only reads one single fixed point in the whole forest. This field method reads the entire landscape around you at once, for $0, using only materials the forest already provides. I need to be completely honest with you about one limit right here. This method takes real practice to read with full confidence first. The first 3 or 4 hunts will feel uncertain and frustrating, but by the 5th hunt, your eyes will calibrate themselves naturally. Old Appalachian hunters did not learn this overnight in the woods. They practiced across dozens of cold morning stalks over the years. This knowledge did not die inside those cold Appalachian hollows. It waited in the timber for someone to finally bring it back. If this video made any difference to your upcoming hunting season, subscribe right now and share it with somebody who still respects. Real fieldcraft over gadgets that need charging before every hunt. Every single share preserves what the hunting industry buried. The complete vault is sitting right there in the description below. The next vault opens very soon, and you do not want to miss it. And what is inside will change how you walk through these woods.